Good morning, Elliot.
What up? How you guys doing?
Hey, bud.
Hi, Elliot.
So, Elliot, do you expect Jalen to say, it's time to rock and roll, I'll run 9 times because this team requires it?
I do. Yeah, I legitimately do. If you look this season, he's averaging around 6 carries a game, something around there. The first 4 years of his career, it's around 9, if not closer to 10 times a game. And I think that's what it'll be in the postseason. And we've seen it year after year in the postseason. In the Super Bowl, he ran the ball. In the snow game last year, he obviously had some big running plays, including a running touchdown early on in that game to get the offense going.
And by the way, Elliot, when you say 6, like 2 of them normally are a kneel down, right? Like that counts.
That includes kneel down.
So that touch pushes too. They haven't done many.
Designed quarterback runs, not the scrambles when he's dropping back. But I really do like those because those are going to get us some first downs and move the sticks. But the designed power, the designed draw, those plays need to come out. And I think what you're saying, Elliot, is you expect more of those, correct?
Yeah, I think he will run the ball more, correct. Yeah. Now, I mean, I do think we need to acknowledge, too, like, he does a ton off of broken down plays with running. And, you know, I know Sunday's game is not the end-all, be-all, it was all backups. But I do think you saw, like, in that game, how important Jalen is extending plays this year. I feel like we've gotten to a point with Jalen where him not turning the ball over and him avoiding pressure has almost become, like, under-discussed because we focus on so many other things.
That's true.
But you look at McKee in that game, he was unable to avoid pressure, and he threw a really bad interception in the red zone. And those are just 2 things Jalen really doesn't do often. I know he's done it a little more this year, but I expect him to move more for sure.
No question.
Do you think the pressure of the situation in that game, Elliot, at the end when we there was communication on the sideline, I'm sure, the Detroit Lions were beating the Bears. The end result came in, and it really did seem like it happened right about that 4th and 3 miss with McKee. Then we get the ball back. It felt like that added pressure sort of, what do I want to say?
Affected?
Yeah, he lost his cool, so to speak, when the more pressure was on him. Did you feel that way? Because he was missing those throws.
I don't know if it's like a projection of how the feeling in the stadium was in general, but it did feel like all of a sudden a game that really lacked juice, lacked momentum, lacked urgency, all of a sudden went from like 0 to 100, and like they have got to score right now. Yeah. So I would agree with you. On the field, it seemed that way as well.
Yeah. Wow.
So, Elliot, a few different things to get to here. I'm going to ask Sirianni at 8:40. He's not going to answer it. I'm going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lane Johnson going to play? Is Nakobe Dean going to play? And do you have a sense, if they do play, their level of effectiveness based on coming back from injury?
So I feel confident about Nakobe. I do think Nakobe will play, and I think he can be effective. The Lane Johnson thing, I think he will play. That would be my guess. He was at practice last week. He didn't practice, but we saw him like at practice, which sounds like a small thing, but it's often normally a sign that things are moving in the right direction and he's close to getting back on the field. So I would think that Lane is going to play. The question is, what type of Lane are they going to get? We all know when he's at his best, he's an elite player. But this year, he's been on and off the field. He's been missing times, like in and out of games. So I think it's a tough ask, and really for the offense in general, to think Lane's going to come back and just be Lane. Now, again, like he is a Hall of Fame player, so I don't think you can put anything past him. But if we think, I don't think people can just count on Lane stepping in and being himself. I think that would be a massive bonus for this team. But I'm going into the playoffs expecting they're going to get Fred Johnson level of play at that position. And then if it ends up being better, that's a plus. But I don't think we should expect much more than that considering the injury situation.
So is Fred Johnson going to be his backup, or is Cameron Williams going to be his backup based on the way that he played in Week 18?
It'll be Fred Johnson, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the Cameron Williams questions for inquiring minds.
I'm excited about him. So we know that the Kyle Shanahan is on the horizon here. We all feel confident about our defense, but the offense moving forward with Lane in there, we're hoping we run the ball. Is it just Saquon? Are we going to have more Big B?
So I think there should be more Tank Bigsby. I mean, if you want to talk about what a player bringing emotion to an offense, I thought the only times in the game on Sunday where the offense really looked good was when Tank had the ball. I just think him running, and if you look at this year, it's there's no question the offensive line's not played as well. And as a result, Saquon is getting hit earlier. The running lanes are not as clear. But Tank has done a much better job running through contact this year. Of all the running backs in the NFL, he's 10th in yards after contact. Saquon is 87th or something around there, right? So, Tank is just doing a better job of making something out of nothing. Now, I will say, in the last meaningful game they played against the Bills, I actually thought that Saquon played really well. I thought he made guys miss, and I thought he looked good, but they were still unable to run the ball effectively. So if Sunday comes, right, and then the offense is struggling through a quarter and a half and it's slow, you're not going to bench Jalen, you're not going to bench the receivers, you're not going to, pull the offensive linemen. I think a way to maybe give the team a spark without making a huge personnel move is to give Tank the ball a few times. I think he can bring emotion. He runs hard, and I think he can give the team a spark.
Well, I
agree with that.
I agree too, but I'll tell you this, Elliot. I think it only happens if the Eagles run the ball more than 50% of the time in the game. Meaning,
I think we all agree they need to do that.
Well,
though.
I guess I'd like to. Here's my point. I don't think they do a 14 carries for Saquon, 12 carries for Tank.
No.
So I think
9. I'd like 9.
Well, no, but here's my point. I'd like even more than that. I'd like 20 for Saquon and 13 for Tank, and you're running the ball 57% of the time.
I would love that.
That would be outstanding.
But will they commit to that level of running and also throw in the 6 to 9
also
for Jalen?
be able to run it that. I mean, 20 Saquon carries has not been a successful strategy for them this year.
It hasn't been. Elliot, do you think they commit to that level of running? Would they run it 60% of the time?
So I just don't think that's an effective strategy to go into a game with. This is not last year's running team. I don't think you go in and saying, we need to do this. I don't think they should go in and say, we have to pass it. We have to run it. I don't think they're doing either effectively right now or at a dependable level where you can say that should be expected. I truly think, as much as this sounds maybe coach speak or whatever, they just have to do whatever the 49ers kind of give them because they're not good enough right now to impose their will in a certain way. So if the Niners come out and say, we're not going to let you run the ball, then Jalen's got to step up and run it. Or if the Niners come out and say, yeah, you can't run the ball, so we're going to shut down AJ, Devontae, and Goddard, then it's on the offensive line to play better because the 49ers defensive line is not good. They are bad against the run. They have no good edge rushers. They should be able to play good, but I just think this idea of saying they have to run it 20 times, the running game is not good enough in order to demand that type of work.
Yeah, you can't have 3 yards in a cloud of dust or you're going to be punting. So I hear you. All right, Elliot.
I have a pressing question too,
go for it.
but it's for later.
All right, Elliot, let me get to this. The Purdy Hurts thing. It's an interesting matchup. And frankly, in Purdy's defense, the last time they faced each other in the playoffs, wasn't exactly his fault.
Purdy's
he got knocked
legit.
out. He's a very good player. Very good player. All right. And he's had a good career. He's been to a Super Bowl, been to a conference title game, that whole thing. All right, Elliot, forget our opinion around here, which for some people is very high on Jalen, for some people it's much lower. From a national standpoint, if there was a poll of who's better between Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy nationally, who would win that poll?
So I think it's Purdy for sure. It depends who you're polling. Are you polling
NFL football fans in all 50 states? Who wins the poll?
Okay, yeah, I think Brock Purdy would win that poll. Yeah, Jalen just does not get the credit he deserves, and he's an interesting quarterback to discuss because his resume is up there with really anyone that's ever played football at his age, right? Very few have accomplished what he's accomplished as a quarterback by the time, what is he, 26, 27 now? So his resume, without question, is there. But we all know, we hear Jalen discussed enough nationally. He's never given the credit he deserves. Brock Purdy has played well enough this year, so it would not shock me if Brock won that poll. And certainly, a chip for Jalen to have on his shoulder heading into the postseason.
Man. All right, so you get to be there for walkthroughs a lot, it seems, at the NovaCare. You've seen them.
Walkthroughs are not open to the media.
Oh, really?
Walkthroughs are not open to the media.
Man, I am so confused by this concept. I see Nick talk about he loves the way guys walk through. I just wonder what makes a good walkthrougher. Really, I never had the opportunity to practice via walkthrough. And I know that's a big part of the way this team prepares. How intense is it? 'Cause I looked at their schedule for this week. They got 2 practices that are about an hour, and then they got one that's closer to 2 hours. I'm assuming they're going to try to keep the guys safe and healthy and walk through an awful lot this postseason. How intense is it?
He doesn't
That's
know.
the question, but you're not there, so
all right,
you don't know.
Eliot, final thing here, bud. I want you to put your reporter hat on. I mean, which is what you are, but
yes,
we're going in a different nature here. One of our own at WIP has a chance to be an NFL head coach. I want to play some audio of Hugh Douglas from yesterday and then find out from you whether there's legitimacy to his candidacy to be an NFL head coach.
I think I'm starting to receive a higher calling here, right?
Okay.
So, with all of the stuff that has transpired over the last couple hours, like 24 hours, as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for one of these coaching jobs. And the one that I have my eyes set on, and I've been making some phone calls about it. I haven't got any phone calls back yet, though, but I've been calling a lot of people. I'm gonna shoot my shot for the Atlanta job. I reached out to Mr. Blank, and I haven't received a phone call yet, but I've went through the back channels to see if I can get that interview.
Eliot, I don't turn to Schefter, Wojnarowski, Woodward, and Bernstein.
He's a college professor now.
Yeah.
When I want to know the truth, I turn to Eliot Shorr-Parks. Eliot, is Hugh Douglas going to get hired by Arthur Blank as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
So I would say this: if the Falcons want to take a chance at greatness, they would give Hugh an interview, right? They can go with a retread coach. They can hire someone that's already done it. That's not what makes greatness, right? You look at when Larry hired Nick. No one else interviewed Nick, right? But he ended up being one of the best coaches they've ever seen. So I think if Atlanta's smart, they would interview Hugh. I know he's already starting to put his staff together. I've heard some of the names. It's an exciting group.
How do you do that without a staff?
Part of his staff, John, is Ike Reese, and I didn't hear your name mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had not been alerted.
Well, no fullback anymore. So.
This is true.
All right, Eliot, good work, pal. We will talk to you on Friday to further preview the game. Thanks, Eliot.